In this class, we'll discuss about the Fourier transform. Fourier transform essentially converts the time domain signal into frequency domain signal. Fourier, suppose if you have a time domain signal of x of t, then what is its equivalent representation in the frequency domain? We may mention in terms of x of omega or x of j omega, or even sometime it may be mentioned like x of f. Okay, for a given signal, this is the x of t is the mathematical representation. Then what is the frequency content of the signal, okay, that we represent in terms of x of omega? Okay, in case of Fourier series, we have written in case of Fourier series, the time domain signal was like a non-periodic, non-sinusoidal periodic signal. Okay, that we have represented in terms of the infinite sum of periodic sinusoidal signal. Whereas here the signal need not to be periodic, it may be non-periodic also. X of t could be non-periodic. Okay, for that signal also we can find out what is the frequency content present in this signal. So Fourier transform essentially gives the relationship between the time domain and its frequency domain, spectral component, time domain to frequency domain. So for a given signal, if you take Fourier transform, okay, for a given signal x of t, you can get x of omega. Then if you want to get, if x of omega is given, if you want to get x of t, then we have to take inverse Fourier transform. Then what is the formula for this one? The formula is x of omega, or sometime we used to write x of j omega, or even sometime it will be given like x of e power j omega. It's all just notation. So we'll follow the simple notation, that is x of omega. Okay, if x of t is given, how to calculate x of omega? X of omega is equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x of t e power minus j omega t dt. Okay, so once if you are given with the time domain signal x of t, then once if you apply in this formula, then we can get the frequency domain representation x of omega. Okay, we can analyze about the spectral component x of omega. So suppose if you have a x of omega, then how to calculate x of t? So x of t is equal to 1 by 2 pi minus infinite to plus infinite x of omega e power plus j omega t dt, e power plus j omega t dt. So once if you have x of omega, then how to calculate x of t? So this is like taking the Fourier transform. So x of omega is equal to Fourier transform of x of t, Fourier transform of x of t. Again here x of t is equal to inverse Fourier transform of x of omega. Okay, again sometime instead of using omega, they may use f also. There are some distinction that you know that omega is always 2 pi f. Okay, so there are some distinction when you use in terms of f. Okay, there will be the variation with 2 pi. So that we'll see later. Okay, what is that variation? So now now at this moment we'll operate only with omega. So then this is the Fourier transform formula, and this one is the inverse Fourier transform formula. Then if you want to find out the Fourier transform for a given signal, then what are all the conditions that the signal has to satisfy? Okay, so once if you are given with the signal, okay, then what are all the properties that the signal has to satisfy so that you'll get the Fourier transform? Because in Fourier series itself, we add some condition, even though the signal is periodic, we add some conditions so that we can write the Fourier series coefficient. That condition is Dirichlet condition. So similarly here also there are some condition. Okay, so if that condition is satisfied, then only we can write the Fourier transform. So what are all the conditions for the existence of Fourier transform? Okay, condition for existence of Fourier transform. Condition for existence of Fourier transform. First one is the signal x of t should have finite number of maxima and minima over any finite interval. The signal x of t should have finite number of maxima and minima over any finite interval. The second condition is the signal x of t should have finite number of discontinuities over any finite interval. The signal x of t should have finite number of discontinuities. Finite number of discontinuities over any finite interval. Okay, these two properties that we have seen in Fourier series also, same properties only. The third property is something new and also it is important. Okay, the third property is the signal x of t should be absolutely integrable. The signal x of t should be absolutely integrable, over a interval over minus infinite to plus infinite. That means what? Integration minus infinite to plus infinite x of t dt value should be less than infinite. That means the integral value has to be finite. Then only we can write the Fourier transform. Okay, if we are not following this condition, then again we cannot directly write the Fourier transform. Then we have to make some adjustment for writing the Fourier transform. So first we'll try to find out the Fourier transform of the basic signal, that is impulse signal, step signal and all, and also exponential signal. Again, before going to that Fourier transform, we'll have some idea, that is what is actually the Fourier transform. Fourier transform is the mapping between the time domain and frequency domain. So that is here, if you apply the compression, okay, so just you remember this idea, compression in one domain is expansion in the other domain. Compression in one domain is expansion in the other domain. Expansion is in the other domain. So that means what? If you try to compress a signal in time domain, it will have more frequency content in the frequency domain. Similarly, if you try to compress in frequency domain, it will have more time in time domain. So that's why compression in one domain is expansion in the other domain. Again, we know that frequency and time is generally related with like this, f is equal to 1 by t. Suppose if you try to compress time, okay, that means you are trying to reduce t. Then what will happen? Once if you try to reduce t, what will happen? The frequency will increase. Or otherwise, if you try to increase t, that means you are trying to expand the time, then what will happen to the frequency? Okay, the frequency will decrease. So that's why compression in one domain is expansion in the other domain. So most often we'll use this principle to get some realistic idea, okay, idea for whenever we get a result for a particular problem. So first we'll try to find out what is the Fourier transform of the basic impulse signal. Okay, find the first question. Find Fourier transform of the signal of x of t, which is equal to del t. Okay, it is a basic signal, impulse signal. For impulse signal, what is the Fourier transform? Again, what is the basic formula? X of omega is equal to integral minus infinite to plus infinite x of t e power minus j omega t and dt. Again, before going to this formula, you just try to check with this formula whether the integration of impulse is less than infinite. Yes, it is less than infinite. integration of impulse value is generally 1, so it is less than infinite. So the impulse is absolutely integrable. So we can find out the Fourier transform for impulse. Okay, then just to substitute here, integral minus infinite to plus infinite, integral minus infinite to plus infinite del t e power minus j omega t dt. Again, we know that whenever the impulse and other signals are there in multiplication, straight away I told you integral minus infinite to plus infinite, whenever del is there, what is there? T minus 0. So if nothing is there, we can assume that t minus 0. Then if t minus 0 means what is the value of t? The value of t is 0. The value of t is 0. So that means what? This impulse will be active only at t is equal to 0. That is the meaning of this one. Okay, so that's why I substitute that value here, 0, then dt. So once if you substitute that integral minus infinite to plus infinite, then what you will be getting? Del t dt, because e power 0 is 1. Again, what is the area under the impulse? The area under the impulse is 1. The area under the impulse is 1. This is very, very important result. For a impulse, okay, if you take a Fourier transform, for impulse, the answer is 1. The answer is 1. Why it is 1? Okay, see, you have a impulse in time domain, then in frequency domain you are having 1. Again, this may be something new. Again, in frequency domain you are getting something constant. Okay, we'll try to understand what is the meaning of this constant. Okay, so this is in time domain, this is in frequency domain. Then what is the representation? In time domain you are having impulse like this, exactly at a t is equal to 0. Okay, this is the impulse at t is equal to 0. Then what is happening in frequency domain? In frequency domain you can either use f or omega. Okay, we'll come to that later. Just we'll use omega. Okay, so then what is the value here? This is constant. So irrespective of frequency, whatever may be the frequency, I will be always getting that constant value. That value is 1. Constant value is 1. So now you see here, this is the constant value. So that means what? Whether I am at omega is equal to 0, or whether I am omega is equal to 1 or 2 or 3 or minus 1 or minus 2 or minus 3, whatever may be my omega value, always I am getting magnitude as 1. So that means what? 0 means it is denoting DC. Okay, again this is another frequency. Okay, this is another frequency. So again you are having this impulse will provide uniform component in all frequencies. Okay, so that is the meaning for this constant. Okay, constant means for all frequencies the contribution will be same. The contribution of the frequency component will be same. The magnitude of the frequency component, the amplitude of the frequency component is same. So you can imagine like this, but it is actually continuous one. Okay, this line is continuous one, but you can imagine like this: the DC is there, and at omega is equal to 1, some amplitude with 1 is there. Again at omega is equal to 2, amplitude 1 is there. But in between this also the contribution will be there. If you take the frequency in between, that contribution also will be there. So when you make sudden change in time domain, that creates lot of frequencies in the frequency domain. When you make sudden change in the time domain, it creates lots of disturbance. Okay, it create all frequencies in the frequency domain. But again, for how long these frequencies will be present? Not always, but for a momentary amount of time. How long your impulse is present in time domain? Very, very short duration. For that short duration only we will be having all these frequency component. After that it will vanish. That is the idea here. Okay, so next okay, we'll see some simple properties. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, we'll go to the next question. Second question. Find Fourier transform for x of t is equal to e power minus at u of t. Okay, before applying into this formula, just first verify whether this is absolutely integrable or not. Again, that we can easily identify just by drawing the diagram. Okay, so at t is equal to 0, this is 1. At t is equal to 0, this is 1. Again, as t increases, it decreases exponentially, then it goes to 0. Okay, this is the time axis. Okay, so this is the waveform signal representation for x of t. So that means what? Once if we take integration minus infinity to plus infinity x of t dt, definitely this will be finite. That definitely this will be finite. That means the area under this curve is finite. So that means what? This is absolutely integrable. So we can take the Fourier transform. We can take the Fourier transform. So for Fourier transform x of omega is equal to integral minus infinite to plus infinite x of t e power minus j omega t dt, e power minus j omega t dt, integral minus infinity to plus infinite x of t is equal to e power minus at. Again, they given u of t. U of t means what? It will always start at 0. So that's why again you'll put the lower limit as 0. 0 to infinite e power minus at. Okay, I will not put u of t because u of t means what? U of t is having value 1 when the limit is between 0 to infinite. That's why I don't put here. Okay, so e power minus at, then already e power minus j omega t is there, then dt. Okay, so this we can write like 0 to infinite e power minus a plus j omega t dt. Then what is the integration of e power minus a plus j omega t dt? That is e power minus a plus j omega t divided by minus a plus j omega. The limit goes from infinite 0 to infinite. Okay, this term I will take out, that is minus 1 by a plus j omega, then e power minus infinite minus e power 0, so that our final answer is 1 by a plus j omega. Okay, so for a given exponential decay signal, what is the Fourier transform? 1 by a plus j omega. Okay, so the Fourier transform for this signal x of omega is equal to 1 by a plus j omega. Then what is the information in frequency domain? Okay, so in frequency domain, what is the modulus value? Okay, if we take magnitude 1 by a square plus omega square root. What is the phase? The phase is minus tan inverse omega divided by a, minus tan inverse omega divided by a. Okay, so that also we can draw here. See, by varying omega, when omega is 0, what is the magnitude? When omega is infinite, what is the magnitude? Again, similarly, when omega is 0, what is the phase? When omega is infinite, what is the phase? That also we can draw here. See, for example, if omega is going from minus infinity to plus infinite, okay, then when omega is 0, what is the value? The value is 1 by a. When omega is 0, the value is 1 by a. When you increase omega, okay, again the magnitude will decrease, then again it goes like this. Okay, it goes like this, Okay, so this is the magnitude graphical nature. Okay, magnitude graphical nature. So that means what? The central frequency is having higher magnitude. Okay, again 1 by a is some number. So the central, that means what? The frequency 0 is having more contribution in magnitude. When you increase frequency value, the magnitude contribution is getting decreased. The magnitude contribution is getting decreased. Then what about the phase? Okay, phase, when you put omega is equal to 0, the phase is 0. Again, when you keep on increasing omega, the phase will increase. The moment the omega is equal to a, okay, when you go to a, again the phase would have become minus 45 degree. Okay, see for example here minus 45 degrees there. So that means what? The phase also increase linearly. Then after a certain time, what will happen? At omega is equal to infinite, the phase will become like 90 degrees. So it will become like minus 90 degree. Okay, so when you increase omega, the phase also increases negatively. Then after a certain time, the phase goes to minus 90 degree. That means when omega reaches very high value, okay, that is infinite, then the phase becomes minus 90 degree. Phase becomes minus 90 degrees. So similarly, you can write in the, you can get it in the negative frequencies also. So for a given spectrum, this is the spectrum. X of omega is the frequency domain representation of the given time domain signal. Once if we have a frequency domain representation, for that representation we can write the magnitude and also we can write the phase. We can write the phase. Okay. And one more thing here is in this problem, the assumption is the A given is greater than 0. A given is greater than 0. Okay. If A is less than 0, again, we may not be satisfying this condition and all sometimes. So that's why the A given is greater than 0. That means A is positive, because if A is not, A greater than 0 means what? A is positive. Okay. If A is less than 0, A will become negative. Once if A is negative, then instead of exponential decay, it will increase exponentially. It will increase exponentially. But once if you increase exponentially, again, you cannot get this integration as finite. Okay, so that's why A value is here greater than 0. That means what? A is non-negative. Once if A is negative, then we cannot write the Fourier transform here. So in the final result, what is the value of A? The value of A is greater than 0. Okay. Next. Find the Fourier transform. Find Fourier transform of x of t is equal to e power minus a mod t. Again, a is greater than 0. A is greater than 0. Again, we know that whenever mod t is given, mod t value is t. Whenever t is greater than 0, again, this will become negative t when t is less than 0. So in the solution, x of t is equal to e power minus at whenever t is greater than 0. Whenever t is less than 0, the t will become minus t, so that it is e power at, then t is less than 0. Less than 0. And what is the Fourier transform? Fourier transform of x of t, Fourier transform of x of t is equal to x of omega, that is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of t e power minus j omega t dt, in integral minus infinite to plus infinite e power minus at e minus j omega t dt plus this is 0. Okay, this is up to 0. I think please wait, we made a mistake. First we'll split the limit. Okay, what is the lower limit? Integral minus infinity to 0. Whenever time is less than 0, again you are in this limit, then that time what we have to use? We have to use e power at. Okay, we have to use e power at. Again, e power minus j omega t. Okay, j omega t dt. Again, whenever the limit goes from 0 to infinite, that means the first one, t greater than 0. Okay, that means upper time is infinite. So here we have to use e power minus at, e power minus j omega t dt. Again, it looks like exponentially increasing. Okay, it looks like exponentially increasing, but it is exponential decay, because here e power at t is really negative. Okay, t is really negative, but a is already positive, so t is negative. So that means even though it looks like exponential increase, but actually it is a exponential decay, because we are at negative time. We are at a negative time. So this is also a convergent one. So this integral also will provide finite value. So further, integral minus infinite to 0 e power a minus j omega t dt plus 0 to infinite e power minus a plus j omega t dt. Okay, then again integration is e power minus j omega t divided by a minus j omega plus e power minus a plus j omega divided by minus a plus j omega. Again, apply the limit minus infinite to 0, 0 to infinite. Then once if you substitute this limit, okay, 1 by a minus j we can take out. E power 0 is 1, e power minus infinite is 0. plus e power minus infinite. Again, this will be here minus 1 by a plus j omega minus e power 0. Okay. Again, this term is 0. This minus will become plus. Okay, then this is simply 0. This is 1 only. So we can finally write 1 by a minus j omega plus 1 by a plus j omega. So that becomes like this. Okay, a plus j omega plus a minus j omega. A plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. But because j is there, j square is minus 1. So this will become like a square plus omega square. So if you simplify further, this is 2a divided by a square plus omega square. So what is the Fourier transform of the exponential that is present in both the side, that is e power minus a mod t is what? 2a divided by a square plus omega square. 2a divided by a square plus omega square. Again, what is the amplitude spectrum here? For this is our final result. For this result, what is the amplitude spectrum? Okay, what is x of omega? Amplitude spectrum at omega is equal to 0, we are getting at omega is equal to 0, we are getting 2 by a. When you increase omega value, again our contribution decreases. That goes on both sides like this. Whereas in case of phase, again the phase is 0. Okay, the phase is always 0. Whatever may be the frequency, the phase is always 0 because here there is no imaginary term. So that's why the phase is always 0. Okay, the phase value x of omega phase in this case is always 0 irrespective of the frequency. The phase is always 0. But whereas in magnitude, once if you increase the frequency, the magnitude will decrease in this manner with respect to this formula. So next, find the Fourier transform of the rectangular pulse. Next, find Fourier transform of rectangular pulse width. Rectangular pulse width t and amplitude a. So solution. Okay, what is the rectangular pulse width shape will be like this. Okay, so the rectangular pulse width shape will be like this. Okay, the total pulse width is t, so that means minus t by 2 plus t by 2. Okay, minus t by 2 plus t by 2 in time. What is the amplitude? Amplitude is a. Okay, so for this signal, for this rectangular pulse, we have to identify the Fourier transform. So we can represent here x of t is equal to a whenever the time is in between minus t by 2 to plus t by 2. 0 otherwise. This is a mathematical representation. Then we can find out the Fourier transform. Again, you see that this given signal x of t is absolutely integrable because it will be having finite area if you take integration. Then x of omega is equal to integral minus infinite to plus infinite x of t e power minus j omega t dt integral minus t by 2 to plus t by 2. What is the x of t value? That is constant, that is a. Okay, a e power minus j omega t dt. In that a you can take out e power minus j omega t divided by minus j omega limit t by 2 to minus t by 2. Okay, again j into a divided by omega e power minus j omega t by 2 minus e power plus j omega t by 2. Okay, so again what will be this value? Okay, this will be minus 2j. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, so this is ja divided by omega. This is minus 2j sine omega t by 2. Okay, again this minus 2 minus 2 is there, j is minus j square, already minus is there, so this we can write like 2a divided by omega sine of omega t divided by 2. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform of the given rectangular pulse. Okay, again we can simplify this further. Okay, we can simplify this further. Okay, we'll take this result, we'll try to simplify further. Okay, x of omega is equal to 2a divided by omega sine omega t divided by 2. Okay, again before simplifying we will see some basic formulas. Okay, the basic formula is SA function, that is SA of x. SA of x means sampling function. Okay, sampling function SA of x. So that means sine x, this is equivalent to sine x divided by x. Whenever sine x by x is there, we can write like SA of x. Okay. Or otherwise, suppose if it is given like this, sinc x, if it is given like this, then how we can write sine pi x divided by pi x. Okay, if SA of x is there, simply you write that variable. If sinc is there, along with that variable, you write pi. Sinc x is equal to sine pi x divided by pi x. Then how we can relate these two? How we can relate these two? So suppose if SA of pi x is there, okay, suppose if instead of x, if SA of pi x is there, then we would have written sine pi x divided by pi x, sine pi x divided by pi x. But sine pi x divided by pi x is sinc x. Okay, so that means SA of pi x is equal to sinc x. SA of pi x is equal to sinc x. Okay, so different textbook may follow the different approach. Some book may use this one SA function, some book may use sinc function. Okay, we'll see that relation now. Okay, so now mostly we'll try to get the sinc format. Okay, in most of the book they'll be following the sinc function. So we'll try to get the sinc function nature. So just try to remember this formula always. This is important. Sinc function. Okay, sinc x is equal to sine pi x divided by pi x. Okay, so that means what? If you want to apply this formula, you have to get pi here. Okay, we'll try to get pi here from this. Okay, so if you proceed further, 2a divided by omega sine omega means 2 pi by t. Omega means 2 pi by t. Okay. Omega is 2 pi by t, but here we cannot write 2 pi by t because this is not omega naught. This is the frequency something, it will be varying. Okay, it is a variable frequency. So better we'll write like this 2 pi f. So omega I can write like 2 pi f. Okay, then already t is there, then by 2. Okay, and also please note down this given signal is not a periodic signal. Whenever periodic signal is there, you can write like that. Okay, 2 pi by t, or otherwise in general relationship for omega is 2 pi f. 2 cancel, then 2a divided by omega. Again here also you can apply that omega is equal to, again here we okay, please we'll wait. Okay, 2a divided by omega, then this is sine 2 cancel pi ft. Okay, so somehow we are getting this relationship. Okay, sine pi x, where x is equal to f into t. Okay, where x is equal to f into t, that too this is capital T. Okay, where x is equal to f into capital T. Okay. Okay, now we are making something. Okay, before that we'll make one relation here itself. Okay, See, this sign is there with you. Okay, once if sign is there, this is omega t by 2. Okay, then already omega is there here. I should have t by 2, so I will form t by 2 here. That means here 2 by t, already in the numerator 2a is there. Then if it goes up, it becomes like at. Then this sine something divided by something, sine x divided by x, I can write it as sa of omega t by 2, sa of omega t by 2. Then once if I have sa format, then how to go to sync format, so it's very simple. At sa, this I can write like 2 pi f, so that means what, pi 2f t, pi 2f t divided by 2, pi 2f t divided by 2, this 2 to cancel. Again at sa of pi f t, at sa of pi at, again sa of pi x is equal to sync x. So at sync, you remove that pi term. Okay, you remove that pi term, then you put sync ft, sync ft, very very important formula. This final result is very very important. Okay, for a rectangular pulse, if you take the Fourier transform, you will be getting at sync ft. Okay, so once again we'll write, for a rectangular pulse, the Fourier transform is at sync ft. Okay, again f is the running variable here. F is the running variable because you are in frequency domain. Okay, depending on what value of frequency you are having, your overall value will change. Okay, again remaining else is constant. A is amplitude. A is amplitude of the signal in the time domain. A is the maximum amplitude of the signal in the time domain. T is the pulse width. T is the pulse width in the time domain. T is the pulse width in the time domain. F is what? Running variable in the frequency domain. F is running variable in frequency domain. Running variable in frequency domain. Again, once if you vary f, how this overall term varies. Okay, that we'll see in later classes. If time is there, we'll see separately. Okay, with respect to f value, that means you can take f as a 0 or f as a 1, 2, 3, 4, any value. So once if you vary your f, how the overall value is varied. Okay, so that we'll see later. So finally we got at sync ft, but just I'll put the overall picture of this at sync ft, at sync ft, or otherwise this is something equivalent to at sa of omega t by 2, okay, whatever it may be. Then the structure of this one goes like this. Okay, in the middle it is having more amplitude. When you go away, the amplitude gets decreased. Okay, this is the nature of the sync pulse. Okay, this is the nature of the sync pulse. Again, the two magnitude. Okay, that means exactly when your frequency is 0, you're having more amplitude contribution. When you increase your frequency, the contribution decreases. Again, here we cannot put the magnitude, because once you put the magnitude, all will be positive. So we'll just put x of omega because it goes like this. But if you take mod, then it will come up. Okay, so we can also take mod, no problem, modulus value. Then it comes like this. It comes like this. Okay, this is the mod value. Okay. Next, find the Fourier transform of the Singham function. Okay, Sgn of t. We know that Sgn of t will have positive value. Okay, that is +1 for positive time period and -1 for negative time period. This is the nature of Singham function, Sgn of t. Again, from this diagram itself, it's evident that it is not absolutely integrable. Once if you calculate -infinity to +infinite x of t dt, and again it will go to infinite. Okay, we cannot say this is less than infinite. Okay, it may go to infinite because again you see simply the area under this signal is infinite. The area is infinite. Again, it may look like this is positive area, this is negative area, so that again they are both cancelling. But if you calculate separately, okay, again area point of view it may be satisfying, but once if you calculate separately, that means x of omega minus infinity to 0, again minus e power minus j omega naught t dt, okay, and then plus 0 to infinite e power j omega naught t dt. Okay, if we apply separately, we may not get any significant result here. Okay. So once if you do integration, this is e power minus j omega naught t divided by j omega. Again, here one extra minus will come. Already minus is there, so I am writing it as a plus. Again, if you apply the limit minus infinity 0, when you apply 0, no problem. But when you apply minus infinite, this is like e power infinite. Okay, e power infinite is again is like infinite. So that means it's not providing the some finite value, so that we cannot apply this approach. Okay, so we have to modify our approach. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it is not having the Fourier transform. So with some modification, we can write the Fourier transform for this signal. Why? Because it is satisfying that property, because area under this signal is again finite. Okay, again even if it is not finite also, again with some modification. Okay, so practically it is again with some kind of signal we can write the Fourier transform with help of some other signal. Okay, so again Sgn of t we can write like this. Okay, that means u of t minus u of minus t. Sgn of t can be written like this. Okay, so u of t we can write like limit. Okay, u of t we can write like limit a tends to 0 e power minus at u of t. Similarly, u of minus t we can write like minus limit a tends to 0 e power at u of minus t. Okay, so that means what? You are having this expression. In that expression, if a is going to 0, then again you are getting u of t. Again in this expression, if a is going to 0, you are getting u of minus t. But for this expression already we are having the Fourier transform. Okay, whenever you have e power minus at u of t, what is the Fourier transform? So the x of omega, the Fourier transform is, this is 1 by a plus j omega. Again for this, if we take Fourier transform, that is 1 by a minus j omega. But what is the condition? The a goes to 0. Limit a goes to 0. Okay. Then this is a minus j omega minus a plus j omega. A minus j omega minus a minus j omega minus a minus j omega, then a plus b into a minus b, that is a square plus omega square. Again limit a tends to 0, limit a tends to 0. Okay, then a cancel, minus 2j omega, again a is going to 0, so that is omega square. So minus 2j divided by omega. Okay, so we can write like 2 divided by j omega. Okay, that minus j I'm taking down. Okay, I'm writing like 2 by j omega. So the Fourier series, the Fourier transform of Singham function Sgn of t is 2 by j omega. Okay, the Fourier transform of Sgn of t is 2 by j omega. Okay, so then next we'll try to find out the Fourier transform for step signal. Okay, find Fourier transform for step signal. Find the Fourier transform for step signal. Okay, so suppose if step signal is there, Again, what is the problem here? The step signal is not absolutely integrable because it goes like this up to infinite. This is the step signal. Again, it is not absolutely integrable. So that means you cannot write directly Fourier transform. It is not absolutely integrable. So we have to apply some modification, okay, so that we can write the Fourier transform. So how to represent this signal with help of the known signal? See, so again, for Singham function, we know the Fourier transform, okay. And again, we'll try to represent u of t in terms of Sgn of t. So how to represent step signal with help of Singham function? So that we have already seen in the basics, u of t can be written as 1 plus Sgn of t divided by 2. Just check it out. Okay, u of t is equal to 1 plus Sgn of t divided by 2. That is, u of t is equal to 1 by 2 Sgn of t divided by 2. Okay, so u of t is equal to 1 by 2 plus Sgn of t divided by 2. So again, the Fourier transform of u of t now is equal to the Fourier transform of 1 by 2 plus Fourier transform of Sgn of t divided by, again, that's constant, okay, divided by 2. That means Fourier transform of Singham function by 2. That's okay. So again, we know that what is the Fourier transform of Singham function? That is 2 by j omega. Again, this 2 is there, so that's why this is 1 by j omega. Then what is the Fourier transform of the constant 1 by 2? Okay, what is the Fourier transform of the constant 1 by 2? Okay, so again, I'll write it in the different manner. If it is a constant, I will take the 2 outside. Okay, again, I'll explain you later how it is coming. Okay, I can imagine like Fourier transform of 1, no problem. Okay, now it will, this also a correct one only, because constant you can take out, no problem. But anyway, again, inside in the numerator also constant is there. Okay, even if you take 1 by 2 outside, again, what is the Fourier transform of 1? Okay, the Fourier transform of 1 is 2 pi del omega. The Fourier transform of 1 is 2 pi del omega. This is something new to you. I will explain this in the next problem. Okay, I will explain how the Fourier transform of 1 is 2 pi del omega. Okay, I will be explaining in the next problem. Okay, so then 1 by j omega. So then finally, what is the answer? 2 cancel. Pi del omega plus 1 by j omega. So for a step signal, this is the Fourier transform. So whenever u of t is there, the Fourier transform is 1 by j omega, 1 by j omega, pi del omega, 1 by j omega, pi del omega. Again, in future, whenever u of t is there, okay, we'll say that Fourier transform is 1 by j omega, but we are also getting some extra component. Okay, this we can understand easily. What do you mean by 1 by j omega? When you increase frequency, the contribution is decreasing. But what is the contribution of this one? The contribution of this one is present only at omega is equal to 0. Only at omega is equal to 0. See, this term present, this contribution is there only at omega is equal to 0. When you go away from omega is equal to 0, this term will not contribute. This term will not contribute. So again, this also we can write like this. See, whenever you have a frequency axis, okay, if you have a frequency axis, exactly at omega is equal to 0, you are having some impulse with amplitude of pi, some impulse with amplitude of pi. Again, again at omega is equal to 0, we do not know. Again, it's coming like infinite. Okay, but if you choose other frequency, okay, then it is gradually decreasing, then it is going to 0. This is the frequency domain representation. Okay, again, the frequency, see, when you increase the frequency, the magnitude is decreasing. When you increase the frequency, the magnitude is decreasing. But exactly at omega is equal to 0, you are getting something. Why you are getting this? It's because this signal u of t is having constant value. Okay, see, what is the constant value of this signal? If you take the average, what is the constant value of this one? The constant value is 1 by 2. So this signal, in general, it is having some constant value or DC value. Okay, so that's why we are getting this this extra component. Okay, this del omega component. What it is indicating, exactly at omega is equal to 0, you are having some component. That means omega is equal to 0 is indicating the DC component. Okay, DC component. That means what? In time domain, average value is there. Some average value is there. So how to represent that average value in frequency domain? DC means always 0. So that we are representing like this. Okay, so what it is indicating that del omega term, the given signal in time domain is having some average value. If that given signal is not having any average value, then we will not get these terms. Say for example, we had a Singham function. What is the average value here? The average value here is 0. That's why, because the average value is 0, that's why we did not have any impulse function here in frequency domain. Okay, suppose if average is there, then we will have an impulse function. But here in this case, the average is not there. That's why the impulse function is not there. Next, find the Fourier transform of the constant, that is 1. Find Fourier transform of 1. Okay, if I know the Fourier transform of 1, that I can find the Fourier transform of for any other constant. Just I will multiply with that constant. Once if I know Fourier transform for 1, okay, if they give even if any other constant, that I can simply multiply. Okay, so first we'll try to find out the Fourier transform of 1. Okay, see what is the general formula? X of omega is minus infinity to plus infinite, again 1 e power minus j omega naught t e power minus j omega t dt. Again, I will not get any significant result here because this is constant. Okay, so again it will be having infinite area. It is not absolutely summable, absolutely integrable. So even if you apply in this, again you will be getting e power infinite, again e power minus infinite, something like that. Again e power infinite is infinite. You will not get any significant result with the direct formula. So again we'll apply some indirect approach here. So first of all, when the impulse is there in time domain, what is the answer in the frequency domain that we got? That is 1. Okay, when impulse is there in time domain, that we got in 1, we got in the frequency domain. This is time domain and this is frequency domain. Okay, so now the question is, when I have a constant in time domain, what I will have in a frequency domain? That is the question now. Okay, so in time domain I am having 1. For that I have to take the Fourier transform. Then what is its contribution in the frequency domain? Again, very simply, these are like interchangeable. So that means I will have something like this. Okay, but exactly it is not directly interchangeable, but the shape in the frequency domain would be like this, but it is not exactly the same as this one. It will have some extra components. Okay, so now once if I take the Fourier transform for 1, again my answer definitely consists of del omega. It's something like del t, because when del t is there I got 1. Again when 1 is here I may get del tau. Why? Because again if we see the Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform formulas, they are like almost similar except that minus. Okay, except that minus, the Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform formulas are almost same except this minus and that extra 1 by 2 pi. So that means what? That shapes are like interchangeable. The shapes are interchangeable. Okay, so now what I'm trying to say, when you have del t, you got 1. When you have 1, you may have del tau. Okay, but along with some extra component, What is that component that you have to identify now? So now what I'm going to do, I will take x of omega as del tau for a moment. Okay, say for example, I am in frequency domain. I am having del tau. Okay, because I do not know what is the exact value, but I'm just assuming. Okay, I am in frequency domain. In frequency domain, I am in del tau. Then what is its corresponding equivalent time domain that I am going to calculate now? Okay, so now we'll start with this. Okay, say for example, if x of omega is equal to del tau, then I have to calculate what is x of t. That we can easily calculate because inverse Fourier transform formula, x of t is equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x of omega e power plus j omega t dt. Okay, in the Fourier transform we'll get minus, but this is inverse Fourier transform formula, so that's why e power plus j omega t. Again, please note down here we will not have dt, we will have d omega. This is very, very important. Okay, we will have d omega. Okay, it's very simple. What is the signal here? The signal here is x of omega. Okay, that means we'll get d omega. That also we'll verify in our original formula. Okay, again the original formula also we written wrong. Okay, so this is d omega. See, if this is x of t, this is dt. If this is x of omega, this is d omega. Okay, be careful there. Okay, so again, then how to proceed further? 1 by 2 pi. Again, we know that what is x of omega, that we have taken del omega. Okay, del omega e power plus j omega t d omega. Again, where this del omega is valid, only at omega is equal to 0. That omega is equal to 0, I can substitute here. Once if you substitute omega is equal to 0, e power 0 will come. That means I can write like this, del omega d omega. Then integration of del omega d omega is 1. So that means I am getting 1 by 2 pi. So that means what? When I take del omega in frequency domain, in time domain I am getting 1 by 2 pi. Okay, see, this is x of omega, this is x of t. When I take del omega here, I am getting 1 by 2 pi. Or otherwise we can also write it in a different manner. Okay, that means what? X of t, x of omega. Suppose if 1 by 2 pi is there in time domain, I will be getting del omega in frequency domain. This 1 and 2 pi is just like a number. That means when I have a 1 here, I will get 2 pi del omega. That 2 pi I can take up. Okay, that means it's like a constant. Then what I will have when I have a k, then what number I will have? K into 2 pi del omega. K into 2 pi del omega. So now finally, what is the conclusion? What is the Fourier transform of 1? The Fourier transform of 1 is 2 pi del omega. What is the Fourier transform of some constant? Say for example k, that is k into 2 pi del omega. Okay, so this is the very important conclusion from this. Okay, when you have a constant, okay, the Fourier transform is this one. Again, this is not the surprising result. See, Fourier transform of 1. Okay, 1 means what? Constant. 1 means what? Constant. Okay, time domain you are having constant value. In time domain you are having constant value. Okay, definitely this constant value, again you can take average. Definitely it will have some average. Then what is its frequency domain contribution? The frequency domain contribution is just a impulse, just a impulse. Okay, what is that impulse value? Again, if it is 1, the frequency, the impulse value is with the strength of 2 pi. Okay, so now this is the frequency domain representation. So when again see that property is also satisfying here. Compression in one domain is expansion in the other domain. So in time domain, what you are doing? You are doing complete expansion over minus infinite to plus infinite. Again, there is no variation at all. It's always constant. There is no variation. That's why again it is constant. To denote that constant at exactly at 0, we are having one component. That means what? This signal is having some constant. This signal is having definitely constant. Other than constant, it is not at all having. It is not having anything. There is no variation. Okay, if there is no variation, that means there is no frequency contribution. That means the frequency contribution is 0. Okay, whenever you have a variation, that we will denote with the frequency. Okay, the variation of the signal only we are denoting with the frequency, but here there is no variation at all. From minus infinity to plus infinite, there is no variation at all. That means again we will not have any frequency contribution here. Okay, so only at DC we will have some component. Other than DC we will not have anything. Okay, this is the Fourier transform of 1. Fourier transform of 1 is 2 pi del omega. Okay, we will stop with this.